Hello, everyone. Today we'll be discussing managing organizational culture and design during succession, a presentation done by me, DeAndrea, Alessia, and Marcus. What is organizational culture? Organizational culture is a system of shared values, norms, and assumptions that guide members' attitudes and behaviors and influences who they are in their work environment. It also reflects on how employees interact with one another and how tasks get done. Now, there's three important factors into organizational cultures that help really solidify how members interact with one another. First example, as I've shown here, is artifacts. So a good example is the Dundies from The Office. Now, Michael Scott might have gone a little overboard by doing it every year, but his heart was in the right place by giving visible structures and just like a reward for something that you did and that you contributed to your office environment. Now, the second thing is espoused values and beliefs. These are ideologies, goals, aspirations that you have for not only yourself, but also the organization as a whole. It could be little things as this is what our goal is to reach the bottom line this year. Or it could just be core values of this is how we are in our organization. We love to have fun while getting the work done. The last thing is the basic underlying assumptions. These are things that you sometimes take for granted. For example, I worked in the low life media office my entire undergrad and now for my grad years. The office before the pandemic was just a space of creativity. You met friends there. You interacted with different majors. You learned about all of media itself. And it was just someone was always in there with you. Now, after the pandemic, the office culture completely changed where you'll be lucky if one or two people are sitting in that room. And it's not as creative anymore. It's not that environment that I came into Malloy knowing and loving. That was my second family. And now it's kind of just been taken away. It comes with the change, right? So especially after the pandemic, a lot of things have changed in organizations as whole. A lot of people are working from home, so you're not having that interaction. And like I said, in my previous office, it changed right afterwards, and you have to just continue moving. So what is the plan of succession? One of the articles that we read compared succession to chess pieces, why I have it here on the screen. Now, we can use the king as an example of the organization as a whole. So all the other chess pieces are moving around it, trying to protect it. You're trying to protect your organizational culture. At the same time as wanting to grow, you want to be able to expand. The point of chess is a strategy game. You're trying to get as many as the other pieces so you could topple down the king. But in this point, we're just trying to continue growing our company and our organization. Now I'm going to pass it on to Marcus, who's going to do a little bit more explaining of what happens during succession. Thank you.
Thank you, Didi. So class, I'm going to step into a few more details based upon what Didi kicked us off with. So what you see is an image from some marketing from Southwest Airlines, and the colleagues and the coworkers, they're on the tarmac, so where the plane is. There's an icon under the plane, shape of a heart. And one of the marketing taglines is, without a heart, it's just a machine. So Southwest has gone through a lot of change over the years, but what's been consistent is they care for their employees, and the employees are properly motivated. And as we know through our research and what we've learned in class, once the employee feels cared for and their needs are met, they are then able to project that forward upon others, in this case, paying customers. So good organizational culture and design essentially go hand in hand. So I'm just going to step forward with another piece of this Southwest example. So in their mind, in how the corporation works, a happy employee leads to happy customers. And happy customers, in turn, lead to happy shareholders, because there's that service profit chain where the employee is helping drive how the activities are taking place, and you have more paying customers over the long run. So it's by no accident that this culture is strong. It's not just about signage in the offices or at the airports. It's really how the whole teams are working together to ensure there's proper coverage and continuity, and in turn, succession planning, because there's a lot of change in the airline industry, most recently during the pandemic. So this is a corporate example. If I step forward, this is the Malloy University Library, an academic example of good organizational culture and design. Librarians do a lot of great work. There's librarians, there's reference librarians. They're all tasked with collecting and absorbing information, both in digital and hard copy form. And they're helping patrons, which is customers of the library, find that information. So if any given librarian were to leave and someone else came in through succession planning, like we've talked about, this culture supports that activity. Everyone knows what their responsibilities are. They have strategy and purpose that's driving them to be, motivated. But the system and the culture is well thought out. So a counter argument to this really good example of culture and organization and sharing knowledge, which leads to good succession planning, is the opposite. So a disorganized culture in ways in which people can't really step into a new role after they've been kind of groomed for succession planning, or if they've been brought out from outside the organization. It takes a lot of time to just understand the culture and then influence positive change from this moment going forward. So with that, I'd like to turn it over to my partner, Les, and she'll take it from here.
Thank you, Marcus. So why is succession planning so important? Succession planning provides a way to identify key roles, people with the right skills, and positions that may need filling in a short space of time. Planning is very important when it comes to succession planning. The fact is, succession planning is a need whenever in good nor a bad situation. Businesses should consider the future. They should plan for a change in the future. By failing to create an orderly plan for succession, your company may not get a second chance if it doesn't adapt immediately after a key player leaves the company. Here are some key aspects when it comes to succession planning: being prepared, planning, skills, success, preparation, promotion target, aspirations. Here are the 5 logos since the beginning of Apple, which is someone who did an amazing job at succession planning was Steve Jobs. After Jobs passed away in October 2011, Apple continued to thrive. Its brand valuation more than tripled from 2011 to 2014, giving it the highest market value of any company worldwide. The effort Jobs put into preparing Cook was the establishment of Apple University. This institution was a mark of a succession plan that went beyond a simple successor. Apple University was intended to remain top talent and help Apple employees think like Steve Jobs. Apple has been around for more than 46 years. They've had a really great succession planning. Leaders and managers come and go. But Apple will continue to produce output that people always want. Companies that iterate like Netflix are great, but companies that don't iterate like Blockbusters will go out of business and no one will remember and they still won't be here. Succession planning demonstrates to employees that there is a long-term plan for the business and potential for advancement down the road. This can motivate employees and enhance overall company morale and productivity. Thank you so much for your participation. Also, thank you to Dee Dee and Marcus, my teammates.